Every Friday, this man went live on the internet and told 1 million people their money was safe. Safer than a bank. That was the actual pitch. The banks were the risk. He was the rescue. And people believed him. Life savings, retirement accounts, kids' college funds. Then, on June 12th, 2022, no warning, the doors locked. $4.7 billion of customer money trapped inside. And a lot of it was already gone. But money like that doesn't just evaporate. It went somewhere. And somewhere leaves records. That's what this channel does. One real financial crime every episode. I follow the stolen money until it dead ends. This one dead ends in a federal courtroom. And on the way there, it runs straight through the CEO's own pocket. Let's follow the money. First, the pitch. Because in this case, the pitch is the crime scene. And it was genuinely good. Celsius Network said, deposit your crypto, your Bitcoin, your Ethereum, your stablecoins, and earn interest on it. Not the 0.5% a bank pays, up to around 18%. And the slogan told you exactly who the villain was supposed to be. Unbank yourself. The banks gamble with your money and pay you crumbs, Celsius said. We're different. We work for you. And the man selling it was everywhere. At its peak, Celsius held billions in customer deposits, and Alex Mashinsky was a folk hero. Every week, a live Ask Mashinsky Anything, that same t-shirt, radiating calm. Celsius has billions in liquidity. Your funds are safe. We don't take the kind of risks the banks take. And I want you to hold on to how that felt to the people watching, because the people who moved their savings in weren't gamblers. Mostly, they were the cautious ones. The pitch was engineered for exactly them. Now, here's the question I ask about every yield promise, and I want you to steal it. To pay you 18%, Celsius has to earn more than 18%. Somewhere, reliably, on your money. No safe investment on earth does that. So where is the return actually coming from? Sit with that question. The rest of this episode is what happened when somebody finally forced an answer. That somebody was a former federal prosecutor named Shobha Pillai. After Celsius collapsed, the bankruptcy court appointed her as an independent examiner with one job: reconstruct what really happened inside. Her report ran to nearly 700 pages. Remember her name. Almost everything I'm about to show you comes out of that reconstruction. Because the picture in those 700 pages was close to the opposite of the Friday live streams. To fund the yields it had promised, the examiner found, Celsius was making illiquid, risky bets. Leveraged positions, staked Ethereum it couldn't quickly get back, large loans to trading firms with little or no collateral. And she found the company was operating, in her words, in a way that was Ponzi-like. Newer customers' deposits going out the door as older customers' withdrawals. One Celsius employee had put it even more bluntly, in writing, in an internal memo. The word that employee used? Ponzi. Now, reckless? Absolutely. But reckless isn't automatically criminal. Hold on to that distinction because it decides Act 3. What turned this from a doomed business into a crime, according to the courts, was a second engine running underneath the whole machine. A token. Celsius's own token called CEL. Let me show you the machine. And then let me show you what the man in the t-shirt was doing with it. Personally, the whole time. Okay, the machine. Start where all of it started, with the depositors. Ordinary people moving Bitcoin and Ethereum and stablecoins into Celsius, chasing a yield of up to 18%, trusting the word safe. Billions of dollars flowing into one pool. Now follow where the pool actually went. This is the examiner's map, hop by hop. First, the mechanic she flagged. When customers asked for their money back, a chunk of what they got was simply other, newer customers' fresh deposits. That's the Ponzi-like dynamic. As long as more money comes in than goes out, it looks like it works. The day that reverses, and that day always comes, it doesn't. Second, and this is the criminal core of the whole case, Celsius took customer money and spent it buying its own sell token on the open market. Hundreds of millions of dollars used to push Cell's price up to make the token look valuable and healthy, which made Celsius itself look valuable and healthy. And customers were being encouraged to buy Cell and hold it as a safe store of value. And while their money was holding that price up, watch this hop. This is the cold open's promise. Mashinsky was selling his own Cell into the very demand his company was manufacturing with his customers' deposits. Prosecutors put his personal take at around $42 million, telling people to buy while he sold and manipulating the price in between. That, specifically, is what he would later plead guilty to. Now the rest of the pool. A huge slice went into leveraged DeFi and staked Ethereum positions. Think of deposits locked in a vault that takes days or weeks to open, in a market that moves in minutes. Another slice went out as loans to trading firms, often without enough collateral behind them. And when some of those firms blew up in 2022, the collateral that was supposed to be protecting customer money turned out not to be there. Which brings us to June 2022. The whole crypto market wobbles. Staked Ethereum comes under stress. Customers get nervous and start pulling their money out all at once. A bank run. At the one company that had spent years telling them banks were the danger. And Celsius can't meet it. The money isn't liquid. It's locked in bets and loans and a token the company had been propping up with the depositor's own cash. June 12th. Withdrawals freeze. $4.7 billion. Trapped. And think back to who was watching those Friday live streams. The cautious ones. That's whose money is behind those doors. 2 years later, in 2024, a bankruptcy plan returned about $3 billion to creditors. A real recovery. Honestly, one of the better ones you'll ever see on this channel. But for many people, it was cents on the dollar of what they'd put in. Paid out at prices set at the worst possible moment. And there it is, the whole trail on one screen. A safety pitch, a propped up token, and a pool of other people's money that was never as liquid or as safe as a single one of those live streams claimed. In July 2023, Alex Mashinsky was arrested and charged, and he wasn't alone. Celsius's former chief revenue officer, Ronnie Cohen-Pavone, was charged with him, and Cohen-Pavone quickly pleaded guilty and agreed to cooperate. When the person who ran your revenue is walking prosecutors through the books, your options get narrow. For a while, Mashinsky fought it. Then, in December 2024, he stopped fighting and pleaded guilty to commodities fraud and to a securities fraud scheme to manipulate the price of Cell. He admitted in open court that he misled customers about how safe their money was and about how Cell's price was really being set. So every time I've said fraud in this episode, that's not my characterization, that's his. And in May 2025, the courtroom I promised you in the cold open delivered its answer. Prosecutors asked for 20 years. His lawyers asked for barely 1. The judge gave him 12. 12 years. Plus $48 million forfeited, along with real estate. That's one of the heavier sentences handed to a crypto executive to that date, and a pretty clear signal that dressing a fraud up as a yield product doesn't change what it is. Now, the distinction I asked you to hold on to in Act 1, here's where it pays off, because I want to be careful and fair, and the courts were too. Not everything Celsius did was a crime. Bad, illiquid bets are not illegal by themselves. Companies make them and go bankrupt all the time without anyone going to prison. What sent Mashinsky to prison was the lying, telling customers their money was safe when he knew the risks, running the Cell machine, pumping the token with their money while selling his own. That's the line between a business that failed and a fraud that got prosecuted. The examiner drew the first picture. The guilty plea drew the second. And here's the lesson, worth more than any single sentence. Because you will meet this promise again, wearing a different shirt. Every version of it sounds a little different. Unbank yourself, safer than a bank, up to 18%. But the math underneath never changes. If someone is paying you a yield that no safe investment can produce, the yield is coming from somewhere they aren't telling you about. Usually, it's coming from the next person through the door. And that works right up until the day everyone asks for their money back at once. Celsius promised to free people from banks. What it actually built was the single most dangerous thing about a bank. Everyone's money in one pool, lent out and bet on, with none of the rules that keep a real bank standing. That's what this channel is. One real financial crime, every episode. I follow the stolen money until it dead ends, built from nothing but public records, every source linked below, so you never have to take my word for anything. If that's your kind of story, subscribe. Because next time, I follow 127,000 Bitcoin, about $15 billion, out of a scam empire built on forced labor and into the custody of the United States government. China says America hacked the wallets to take it. Washington calls it the largest forfeiture in its history. One of those stories is wrong.